All right, so stream is live.
Cool. So you got all the intelligence linkies today? You know what we're talking about?
Yeah. Yeah, I've got
Wonderful.
everything up. Probably be a quick version again because we've only got, 1 hour.
Yeah, we'll be cool. Book of faces. Share the stream. Setting up X. No, I don't care about displaying my phone number. Oh, that's interesting. Have you seen there's images coming out of the live action He-Man yet?
No.
Like, have you seen the images?
No, go ahead and have them ready on your end then.
Yeah, Tila has pants.
Okay.
Not that I'm particularly complaining about her having pants, but I thought it was interesting. So, I'll have to see where they go with it. Yeah, I'll have an image ready to go just in case you want or need. All right. Anything else going on, boys?
No, I don't think so.
I passed my PMP. So if you guys are looking for a new project manager, I'm certified.
You'd have to move up here.
Fuck.
Sorry.
Wow, hard
It is
F-bomb out of the gate, huh?
It is the most chill work environment I have ever run into, though. This is like working while on vacation continuously.
Are you still
No, that's what
remote?
I do.
Me, am I still remote? No, but I live 5 minutes from the office. I could skateboard to my to the work.
That's pretty much, yeah, same here.
And they hired a Michelin star chef to prepare breakfast and lunches.
Nice. Very nice. Oh, geez, all we've had is a black screen. I didn't even have E2IP up the whole time, just ready to go. Sorry there, people. Oh, Eddie Art says, "What's up, guys? Has the show started? Sounds like you're setting up. I see no video, but hear talking." That's exactly what's going on. It's our live background audio leakage while I get the socials set up. But here, enjoy the loading screen, because it's almost top of the hour anyway. All right, so let's see. We've got... Alright, I guess we'll just see everybody on the other side. Tonight, I forget how to work the screen because I don't know what I'm doing anymore, and we're also going to talk about Andor Season 2, as well as everything that you need to know pop culture going on in the entertainment industry. Why? Because we're the Entertainment Information Intelligence Podcast, that's why. And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again to tonight's Entertainment Information Intelligence Podcast. I'm Petey York, joined as always by Mr. Corione, Witch in Residence, and Mr. Pollo Zapatos, aka John. We're, of course, your fully 100% independent and self-funded information intelligence news source. Yeah. There may be others similar to us, but nothing quite like ours, I guess you could say. I went out and spent some time out on the water, so I'm a little bit tired and behind the times. Corio, why don't you tell us what's going on while I pretend like I'm not doing anything, but I'm actually trying to work this show behind the scenes?
Sure. So, why don't I start out with just a fun little piece? We actually are starting to get images from the live action He-Man behind the scenes. So we're actually starting to see how some characters look in costume. And we actually got a Tila off of the set today. So we have the three most prominent versions of her to come out, and then we have what we see on screen here.
Very nice.
Now,
very nice. And of course, hello to Eddie Arndt already in our chat, chatting things up. Welcome. We do appreciate everybody who shows up to saturate the comments section.
Yep. Now, to me, this actually does look as close to the OG Tila's outfit as we've seen on screen yet. Now, the OG Tila outfit didn't have pants. This one does, but I don't think that's too huge a change, really.
No, that's it. Scrap it. Woke. She's wearing pants. Woke. Woke. Woke.
Well, I'm just being honest with the costume critique, right? Otherwise, it's pretty good, and I do like the design. I do like the look of it. To me, it does look like something that a royal guard could wear.
Definitely.
So, it's not meant to be tactical or camouflagey, but it is meant to be like something that you could wear and fight in, and that seems to work for me.
Yeah, John, you're unseasonably quiet. What's your thoughts on this costume adjustment, departure from this bastardization of pop culture?
Well, dude, that's a 6-shooter, so I'm gonna be honest, I feel like at least they didn't make it a squirt gun like Apple did.
Actually, it's not quite a 6-shooter. If you take a look, it looks like some sort of crazy laser blaster of some variety.
Yeah,
which
I figure.
I'm fine with a sci-fi gun, right?
But honestly, I feel like after watching The Boys and the Watchmen, like the whole former outfits and like the change to it, like the debate's kind of settled with that shit. So to me, I feel like this is an inspired rendition.
Yeah, I think so too, and I do think it's a solidly inspired version of it. I think it works.
Also,
let's
like a flak jacket on a queen. That doesn't make sense. Or not
right?
a flak jacket, but a life jacket.
Yeah. Yeah, basically. Right. No, I think it works. I'm kind of happy with it.
Should be fine. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get things rolling on the. If you are Pollo Zapatos, you're probably just ecstatic to hear about this terrible news. Apple's sci-fi epic Foundation is gonna get a season 3. Or, wait, it did get a season 3. Season 3 is coming in July.
Yes, it's coming soon to a theater / my house near me.
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, I think it's wonderful that Apple is making shows just for Pollo Zapatos and no one else now.
I know, that's crazy that we have that much influence that a third of our panel has influence enough at Apple to keep a season going on a crappy sci-fi.
4K quality with those spaceships and space graphics.
The Expanse.
Nope. Not 4K like that. There are no giant rings
So the pretty
around
visuals are what's getting you.
No, I love this story. I am so here for this story.
Oh, but it's such a departure from the book.
I'm saying, like, if you have nothing else, it is the prettiest sci-fi ever. Like,
Okay.
It finally beat Star Wars in pretty.
Dude, I just watched episode 3 in the theater, and I was like, man, nothing has come close to this.
Imagine if they had Foundation's art department.
Yeah.
Like,
maybe.
George Lucas's rules with Foundation's ability to find these really obscure but, like, phenomenal outfits. Like, imagine if that was for the entire Star Wars universe, not just this universe. Like, that is my favorite thing, which I know we'll get into it later, but, like, with Andor, it's proving my point that you can write anything in Star Wars and you have a playground for your story, but at the same time, it's also, like, another version of rebellion propaganda. Like, justifying why the rebellion had to happen. If you think about, like, watching it from the Star Wars people's perspective, like, Andor is all about this hero who tried his best and the Empire wouldn't let him, but in his, like, because of his sacrifice, now you can do so in the New Republic.
Okay, I mean,
I think Foundation is like another version of Palpatine, like another variation, and I just think these stories are the most fun.
I don't know, that first season started to get rough and complicated. And, like...
Dude, the whole thing is complicated. The book was complicated, and I think the show is doing it justice without doing it bad.
I mean, I kind of feel like it was a fair bit of a departure, personally. But, you know, that's where I line up, right?
Yeah. Alright, moving on. Revival is an upcoming supernatural horror noir television series based on the American comic series by the same name by Tim Seeley and Mike Norton, and published by Image Comics, created by Aaron B. Kuntz and Luke Boyce for Sci-Fi. The series is set to premiere on June 12th. Okay, what's,
Yeah, so this is a new science fiction horror series that is coming out. It looked promising to me.
Okay.
And I thought it was worthy of your guys' attention. You know, I never promised anything here is good, only that it is worthy of your attention.
Well, it may be worth considering when it comes out, but...
Right? I mean, if you take a look at the premise, right? We can
A
just
rural Wisconsin town is the sudden resurrection of the recently deceased becomes known as Revival Day. The newly revived maintain their appearance, memories, and personalities from their previous lives. While the town's residents grapple with the miraculous event, local police officer Dana Cypress investigates a murder mystery where everyone, including both the living and the undead, are suspects. Alrighty then.
I mean, dude, zombies and cops. Like, that has an interesting take to it, doesn't it?
You know what? We'll keep an eye on it when it comes out. I mean, it's okay, set for June, so we could probably follow this show. I mean, where's it streaming at? Because I don't have the TVs, at least not yet. I mean, I might end up trying YouTube Premium for 6 months because I'm gonna switch my phone carrier. But
well, it's on Sippy. So I would imagine that there's going to be a few places on various places on the web where it can be watched, probably the Sci-Fi site.
episodes available to stream on Peacock 1 week after they air. Oh, man.
Oh, there we go.
I'm not getting cable just to watch Sci-Fi Channel. That's...
Well, I happen to have cable, so why don't we do a show from my why don't we do a virtual sit on my couch piece to watch it?
We might have to. We'll see. I mean, yeah. June 12th, we got a month to think about it.
Yeah. But I just thought it was interesting and worthy of your guys' attention.
Yeah. All right. Also, if you're Pollo Zapatos, David Fincher directed premiere episode of Netflix's Love, Death, and Robots Season 4, which comes out in 2 days.
Yeah.
Oh, John, you're a big fan of this show.
Dude, I love Death and Robots. It is exactly what I was just talking about Foundation, but episodic releases of just peak directing for one episode. And in CGI, or not CGI, but like in Unreal, in different engines. And it's a lot like Secret Level, except it has nothing to do with any specific series, unless it says it does, because some of them do, and it's really fun. But like, it's just a ton of fun. Sometimes they're just really sick music videos, but like in 4K Netflix quality, it's so worth it.
I mean, Love, Death, and Robots has done some very interesting episodes. Again, I'm not saying whether they're good or bad. I am saying though that they have tackled some interesting questions. So that in and of itself is worth the attention and the price of admission, especially if you already have Netflix. It's not something I would say you need to get Netflix for per se, but I would say it's worth watching. And the idea of, the advantage of having the seasons drop the way they do typically. Especially now that they're in the 4th season, you can kind of skip through the ones that you're not interested in. It's not like a linear, serialized sort of series.
Okay.
For those who may not have, or who may have watched Secret Level on Amazon Prime, it's a similar kind of format. And the best way I can describe it is the Unreal Tournament episode felt a lot like it.
Clenched, feculent sphincter. It cries out for a savior. It cries out for me.
Let's go.
Anyone got a problem with that?
It was the end of the world.
We still got each other, and when the time comes, we gotta take back what's ours.
I have a proposition. I will give you the Earth if you will worship me. Do we have a deal, sir?
And so, our crusade begins.
The what begins?
She can't take much more of this! Ow! Kiss that thing!
It's one of the fallen.
This dude eats a lot of lentils. If he ever lights a candle, we are all going to die.
Kill me now!
I was dead when you came here. You saved me.
You have them. They are called fountains. Sample my power, foul creature.
Oh.
Let the race begin! A contest of heroes worthy of this
revolution.
See what I mean? Like, there's a lot of different styles, a lot of different pieces there.
A lot going on there for sure. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I might. I don't know. Maybe.
Hey, we got a
That
maybe.
Trailer in and of itself was an episode.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
as much as you think you just got something, you didn't get anything about any of the episodes.
Yeah.
And when you watch them, you're going to be like, oh, that's what that character was talking about. Or, oh, that's what was going on. But, like, none of it's going to line up with the trailer. And that's what makes it so fun. Is like, it's such... like, to me, it's the idea of like what all these group projects in like TV shows have been, where like they keep bringing in new directors and new people to try and like help.
Yeah.
But this is like the same thing.
Well, you know what I kind of consider it is, I kind of consider it like an animation art film resume kind of project, like where you're like, you know, you've got like 500 artists and you say, okay, do something in this genre and let them loose.
Yeah.
Right? So, worth checking out. All right, shall we move on?
Yeah. Why Suits LA was one and done. Suits shocked the streaming world with record run in summer 2023, but its inevitable spin-off was scrapped after airing only 11 episodes.
Yeah, so Suits LA was not good. For starters, the original Suits got universal praise for how accurate life in a law firm was. So it was turning into a lawyer show, right?
Yeah.
Suits LA ignored all that and went, we're just going to go balls to the wall, and who cares if we're legally logical about any of our stuff? We're just going to have fun because it's LA and we can do whatever bullshit we want.
Sure.
And yeah, that didn't work.
No, I guess it can't.
So, I mean, the moral of the story here is, you know, listen to your damn audience. And I thought it was interesting because there's been an awful lot of sci-fi and fantasy shows that have been killed because they ignored their audience's wishes and what the audience was tuning in for and decided to do their own thing because, you know, they knew better for some reason.
Of course they did.
And they got killed.
Yeah.
And now we're seeing it with, you know, normie shows too. And I thought that was kind of an interesting thing to see how sci-fi is leading the way.
Yeah, well, it was inevitable. I mean, you know, I think what's going to happen is as people consume more media, they're going to want... We kind of seem naturally as a species to want to be seeking a higher understanding of things. Now, of course, you know, people say, oh, well, if you want a higher understanding, I got a church you can go to. And hey, that's great for those that do that. That's great. Like, I believe in the First Amendment, and I believe that it's really more of a worldwide freedom. But to understand, you know, this plane of existence, we have to continue to explore and talk about various ideas. But I'm noticing, like, there's small hints and suggestions that humanity might actually be trending away from just the overindulgence and the stupidity all the time. Like, but part of that's because, you know, intelligent people are realizing that, okay, there's something appealing about the stupidity. That doesn't mean that they're wrong. So it seems to be this sort of... I think the only way that we're going to really progress as a species is recognize that there are some humans that are just born with basic bitch IQs that, you know, various simple things like going to the grocery store are the greatest thing of their existence. But my problem, I guess, is that why is that so terrible, especially if, you know, that person's not killing anybody?
Right?
And so... it's like people in academia are also starting to realize that, well, while it's certainly smart to want to strive to be better and smarter in life, none of that means anything if we don't recognize the simple and, you know, remember that it's okay to be moved by something profound and deep with lots of meaning. It's also okay to maybe get a little teary-eyed over a delicious cheese pizza every once in a while. Like, it's all, existence is fascinating. Existence is cool, and I guess it's been you know, it's been enough of a journey at this point at 34, but to realize that there is so much more to life than just well, you know, just following one track and thinking that. And don't get me wrong, but at the same time, those who do want to just follow one track in life and are happy and you're not hurting anybody, who am I to stand in your way and question anything? So at the same time, though, you got to work towards, you know, what trends work. And this stuff we've seen before.
Yeah.
This is just Entourage, but crappier. At least that's what it looks like from here.
It kind of does. Well, okay. They tried to get the inter-office intrigue of the original Suits, but just failed, for lack of a better term. They just made it stupid.
Right, because Suits itself was a glimpse into a world that a lot of people don't understand unless you're a lawyer. But it was, you know, it had that Scrubs effect that people could better now empathize, you know, with their doctors and nurses, because most doctors and nurses are like, yeah, Scrubs is pretty much nail on the head with how real, you know.
Right. But, you know, Suits LA was just balls to the wall silly.
Just throw the shit at the wall and see what's funny and sticks. And it's like, yeah, they did that with shows like Entourage. They've done that with other shows. I mean, even like The Simpsons or Family Guy or American Dad. I mean,
yeah,
it gets to a point where throwing shit on the wall just isn't as hilarious anymore. People want nuance. People want meaning. People want that. That's why the formula that's why the Ted Lasso method works.
That's it.
Ted Lasso works because it uses real life scenarios that are relatable, but it can also impart, you know, make it somewhat educational and fun in the process. It can impart wisdom without being too preachy or annoying.
Right.
And so when you lose substance, like even Bayformers has some substance to it. I know there are certain people who think that Michael Bay's Transformers is an abomination and should never have existed. But then there's some people like me who love Bayformers because, well, it was the first time I got to see my Transformazoids on the screen, and it was badass.
And
I know, I made a reference to The Simpsons.
No, it's okay. And, you know, I have accepted that you are, in fact, a heretic, and, you know, but it's okay, right? You know, you don't have to like good things. You know, everyone's allowed to be wrong once in a while, and this is just your thing, and I've accepted there's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah, so I'm thinking we're gonna do Transformers for my birthday next year.
Oh God,
it's really good. We might even do a watch party.
No, it's not.
Better than you remember, Corione. You just set your expectations. Okay, you just had expectations for it, then you should have just had 0.
No. All right. Anyway,
Thunderbolts rules quiet weekend with $33 million. Sinners continues to wow. I think I gotta go see Sinners soon.
Yeah, it's actually doing shockingly well at the theater. It's been the little movie that could. And, you know, Thunderbolts is doing well, way better than everyone thought it would. So, you know, we got 2 lovely surprises this week at the box office.
Yeah, I think one of our End of the World panelists, Jay, is actually going to be checking out Thunderbolts. Actually, wait, I think he's checking it out right now. That's right. He was going to go to that and then we're going to play GTA. Anyway, we also might have a GTA stream after this. We'll see. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I might have to check that out. I have heard nothing but good things about Sinners from multiple sources that I follow and still respect. But I did hear actually some grumblings about Sinners. I guess one of the bad guys is an Irish vampire, and then I guess some other white folks are the bad guys too. I guess now that just means that it's automatically woke because the skin color means everything now. But it was those people that were saying all lives matter, like what, a year or two ago?
Yeah, look, to me, I didn't see an inherent problem here in terms of racism, but that may just be me. And usually, if I do see it, I do call it out, but I didn't see it here.
Sounds like, you know, when you want to look for something and you want something to be shitty, you will find the shit no matter what. I mean, that's just, there's no way to yeah. It's like you get to some point with some people on things like, for example, Star Trek Picard Season 3. Was it the greatest Star Trek ever? No. Was it better than all of the TNG movies? Obviously. But some people don't want to accept that. Some people are attached to the TNG movies as being better than they were. I can get that. But what I can't get is continue to say that, oh, well, the TNG... If you think TNG movies are good, then you have to accept that Picard Season 3 is good. I hated Rogue One for the longest time. But I hated it because it lacked a lot of the substance that Andor has now come back and given us anyway. So... Now, of course, if we didn't have Rogue One, we wouldn't have Andor, so now I gotta kind of appreciate and accept Rogue One for what it is. And, you know, if we get Star Trek Legacy, or we get 2 more, you know, Next Generation movies take place on the Enterprise D, that would be badass too. But, you know, we'll see what happens with that. It's just... there's... I don't know.
Well, we'll see where it all goes, right? I mean,
it's all we can do. I'm still waiting for Star Trek Legacy, but, you know, we'll see what that happens. All right, NBC, which people still watch for some reason, has its fall schedule with NBA and new comedy. Remember, I just watched a Simpsons episode about this. But anyway.
Yeah, so, well, you know, Simpsons predicting the future again. But, so I thought this was interesting that they've had to play around because they are trying to accommodate the NBA schedule as well as a new comedy block that they're putting forward, which means new comedy shows. So I thought this was an interesting glimpse into the internal workings of how a fall lineup is kind of set up.
Yeah.
Right. And, you know, it's an interesting piece here, right? Because now we know, for example, they're planning a new comedy block. Well, which means, you know, we need to find out, or we need to start looking at what new comedies they're going to put forward, which is always fun, at least for this show.
1 hour comedy blocks, Mondays and Fridays, anchored by second-year shows.
So,
well,
we'll see how it comes together. I just thought it was interesting to see that, you know, TV is desperately trying to fight on.
Good for it, yeah. All right, Godzilla vs. Kong sequel gets new title and teaser as it starts production. All right.
Yeah, Godzilla vs. Kong Supernova.
Cool.
So, I figured you guys would appreciate this. It's,
yeah,
you know,
it takes place in the Monarch verse, so I guess I'm gonna have to watch this now. Have to catch up on my Godzilla vs. Kong. Oh, 2027. All right, I got time.
You got a little bit of time. But it looks like Godzilla and Kong are starting their little bit of a bromance there, so that'll be fun. This one, though, I thought was very interesting.
Okay.
So, Francis Ford Coppola reacts to Trump's movie tariff, saying that Megalopolis is selling out screenings since the 2024 election. Now, Megalopolis is a remake of one of the very first black and white silent films. And basically has to do with robot workers starting to replace humans in a city, and those robot workers kind of realizing that that's what their purpose is, and potentially almost forming unions to try to deal with how they're treated in the original anyway. But there's a lot of political and class-based, if you will, drama involved in that series. And
Yeah.
Francis Ford Coppola is bringing up the tariffs because he wouldn't have necessarily been able to make the same movie if those tariffs were in place. Right?
No.
And I think that's an interesting discussion to have, because I do think a 100% tariff on movies not made in the United States potentially, one, has a chilling effect on American cinema, because they won't have necessarily the shots they want to have for on-site shots. And two, it prevents foreign films from easily coming into the American market. And that, I think, is also very concerning. Because, let's be honest, while some of them can feel very art-housey kind of movies, others have very, very important points that they're making.
Yeah.
And not getting a chance to even discuss that kind of art has a chilling effect on society.
Well, and that's how, it sounds patriotic. We're gonna tariff all the movies. We're only gonna make American movies. And it's like, basically that's a form of cultural control. Again, so literally what the anti-woke have been, complaining about and whining about, Trump is literally encouraging in a totally different way. But that's okay, because Trump is the guy that people like, and so it's acceptable when you like the guy who's being a tyrant or something. So,
I mean, yeah, like to me, this is like it raises concerns primarily, right? Like the biggest concern here is if we're limiting what Americans can see and discuss, we're really kind of eliminating what Americans get to speak about. And that's a very concerning piece.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not, and I don't know if that was for sure the intent. It's like one minute we're talking about Trump's third term, now we're talking about a successor, and it's like it's just a bunch of.
It's concerning, right? I mean, it's deeply concerning, and one of the great things about the United States has always been the freedom to discuss anything and any viewpoint. And if we're deciding, no, we're going to eliminate that by more or less making it not profitable to do, right? I mean, it's a loop, or like it's a loophole that I think really kind of makes the democracy a lot more problematic than it should be.
Yeah, it is.
That's my opinion on it, but I mean, that's where I'm at.
Tom Cruise shuts down tariffs talk at Mission Impossible press event. We'd rather answer questions about the movie. And this I have to respect, staying on topic. There's a time and a place to discuss certain things. And the premiere of what may be the last, for sure, final, last ever Mission Impossible. There will be no more, for sure, after this one, maybe, kind of, well, maybe we'll do one, I don't know, possibly, kind of, maybe one more. One last.
I thought they were going to do it until.
Yeah. Dude, he still has to do the absolute impossible, which is hand it off to a clone of himself that is also himself.
Well, I just figured they keep doing these movies until they finally break Tom Cruise.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. No.
Like, he's got to make profit for the church that he belongs to, that I will not name on stream because I don't want to die.
Right.
He's got to keep making them money, so I figured they just keep working him until he dies.
All right, now quickly to our video game news segment, because we do sometimes talk about video games on this channel. Looks like we're talking about Chronos: The New Dawn. We got the Steam page up, planned for release of 2025.
Yeah, so this game looked kind of cool. There's definitely some interesting visuals there for John, because I know how much he likes pretty.
Pretty much, pretty visuals are John's thing now.
Yeah. Right?
Not so much in video games. This one does look cool, but it's also very terrifying. I'm
Well,
more
that's
down
it.
to watch the YouTube.
Yeah, this one's definitely got a bit of a survival horror thing going on it. But there's some cool mechanics at play that I thought were just really neat. And, you know, a lot of people are saying that this is going to be the next big game to look at for the foreseeable future. It's coming out in the next little bit. So it's something to keep an eye on.
All right. And finally, Doom: The Dark Ages.
Yeah, we're getting that soon, too.
A prequel to the critically acclaimed Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal that tells the epic cinematic origin story of the Doom Slayer's rage.
Yeah, I thought this was kind of a cool idea. You know, let's literally get medieval on the asses of these demons.
Okay.
And you know, thought it could be a lot of fun. So, yeah, like you have to admit that looks a certain level of badass.
It's like a Power Ranger and Master Chief combined.
Yes, the Power Chief.
Yes.
Go Power Chief.
I have the power. Yeah.
So, I don't know. It looked cool. The visuals are incredible, as the latest Doom games have been. You know, I feel like the Doom Slayer's really getting his, you know, really getting his time now. And yeah, I look forward to seeing what they do with this one.
Yeah. All right. It is now time to discuss last week's Andor, or, you know, Ansnor, or Anbor, if, you know, it's too much for you to handle. Apparently Critical Drinker has now flipped on this show. He was not liking it at all, but he is now apparently won over after last week's episode, which honestly was really what got me just singing this show's praises. This is peak Disney Star Wars, without a doubt. Some of the best Disney Wars that we have somehow managed to get. I was very surprised and impressed with how we... What?
Rebels, Bad Batch, Visions.
Those are good, but it doesn't even...
Those are where this comes from. When you break those shows down, like those shows, especially like Obi-Wan meeting Mace Windu in the desert, like seeing that scene, even though it was like a cartoon version of it, it was magical. And I think really what Andor did was finally bring those shows to life. Like, there has been so much good writing in the Star Wars universe, even at Disney. It was just not brought to the live stream. And that's the saddest part, until Andor. Until Andor, we finally got where the good writers were hiding. Like, we talk about Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau for The Mandalorian, but that was way more Jon than Dave. Because you know Dave would have put way more character into his characters, way more time actually training Grogu, or like listening and getting to know Grogu, rather than flybys and shoot 'em ups. And I think that's what we're seeing with Andor. And Andor has been that this whole time. Like, I've been here for it since we finally decided to watch it, because I thought it was a bore too. When we started, I was like, oh, this show cooks the whole time if you're willing to let it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean, everything that we had been, you know, especially with this season, but even last season, like, this is what we were building up to. was just the whole thing on Gorman Gorman's what it's called. Yeah, Gorman.
Yeah, Gorman. Yep.
I mean, the whole confrontation, the build up, the suspense, it all just climaxes into an event that manages to humanize the evil empire and yet still retain the fact that no, it's a tyrannical evil empire, and it was just, yeah, I was blown away, but that I was watching something that Star Wars had managed to, for a brief moment, get me to feel similarly to how I did in certain, high emotional moments of shows like Band of Brothers or Masters of the Air, or, shows about World War II, that in movies about it, that it showed, but it was able to take that and make it a bit more of an apolitical stance, in that it's power versus freedom.
Yeah, this is the great thing about the Star Wars universe, is there is straight up a good and an evil, right? Like, there are certainly shades of gray in between, but there is a definitive good and a definitive evil, and you know which side you're on for the most part. Now, don't get me wrong, guys like Cassian live in the gray verse of it. They totally do. But, we can argue very easily here that, like, Mon Mothma's addressing of the Senate is straight up somebody speaking truth to power, and that is cool to watch.
Bro, okay, there's like a bunch of things here, but I've been listening to Brandon Sanderson talk about plot a lot lately in his lectures that he does on YouTube.
Yep.
So check them out if you can, because they are super useful if you're into sci-fi writing. But something that you just put into so much perspective, Choreo, and like lit my thinking light bulbs up. And if you think about it, like, one of the hardest parts about the prequel trilogy is, how did Anakin fall? And it just hit me that what Andor really did, because people, like Parker said, the dark side, the Empire is being humanized. Like, there are people doing these actions, and they actually, like Corian, you're saying, like, there's a clear good and bad. That's to us.
Right, like us watching, and I do mean that, not the character's perspective.
Them, and Andor finally painted it, like, for them, it's not clear.
Right.
Like, the guys in white are actually the bad guys.
Yeah.
And I think that, like, what Andor really just did is, there's this thing that Brandon kept saying in a couple of his lectures, and he kept bringing up a meme with Aragorn saying, for Frodo, at the last fight against the at the Black Gate, right? And one of the other guys in the army turns to another guy and goes, for who?
Yeah, who the fuck is Frodo, right?
And that is exactly the difference of this whole, like, Star Wars saga. Like, the more you watch, like, shows like the Clone Wars, and you watch Rebels, and you watch the Bad Batch, it's very clear how things happen between each movie, between each cycle, and it's awesome to those that watch them. But, like, Andor finally brought it to anyone who hasn't watched those, who hasn't truly given those the writing time of day they deserve. And I think that that's, like, the craziest thing, that, like, Critical Drinker is a testament to that. Like, he's like, oh, this show cooks, and I didn't notice. And I was listening to a couple other guys say the same thing, like, oh, I'm just really not feeling it. It feels not Star Wars. But, like, Corian, you just nailed it on the head. It's like, no, to us, the bad guys are clear and the good guys are being lazy about it. And Andor is like, it's not laziness. Like, no matter what they do, they're probably going to get harassed, and their entire town is going to get harassed if they do something. It's fear, constant and continuously.
Yeah.
And Andor does the absolute purest demonstration of that
Right.
in any live action Star Wars.
Oh yeah,
Like,
no.
the Mandalorian is what everybody wants Andor to be, but that's also what sets the Mandalorian apart. He's from a race that is capable of doing that. Everybody else isn't.
Oh yeah, no. Like I would argue that for a society, if you will, okay, the overall galaxy, the historical analog would probably be World War II, and like looking back at World War II from our position, we can be like, yes, there were some very bad people in Germany who were doing some very, very bad stuff, and the Allies were the good guys, and it's black and white, and it's very clear. What Andor does lovely is show us what it was like in Germany before the war.
Right.
Right? It's showing us how, like, because, you know, we can sit there now and say, like, oh, we would never be that guy who supported, you know, these very bad men from Germany. But this is showing why people did.
Yeah. Eddie Art in the chat says, definitely loving Andor. It's not your typical Star Wars. You really see the serious side and not just bang, bang, shoot, shoot. Right. And that's the thing is I was thinking about it today. What Andor does, what the original trilogy does, is it inspires us to be heroic by showing us the heroes that are in the front seat, that are at the top of the action. It's like what you guys just said with the Return of the King. You know, for Frodo, and then the guy like two rows down is like, for who? What is this any of this about? And see, that's what is special about Andor, is it shows you the guys that aren't going to make it to the Yavin 4 medal ceremony, that aren't going to just be able to swoop in and finish what was started. But their contribution, their efforts are no less important. And in the end, you should never think that what you do somehow matters less just because you're not the guy, you know, that's in the spotlight at the end of the fight. It's showing that everybody's efforts to overthrow the Empire matter. You can't just rely on, oh yeah, here's Han, Luke, and Leia, our heroes, and they're the heroes because they're the good guys, because they have to be, because we need good guys, and they're a ragtag group of rebels that's just on the run from the Empire, and that's the underdog versus the big dog. And, you know, while the things that were happening, like the Battle of Yavin and whatnot, a bunch of other smaller skirmishes were likely taking place, because it's a big galaxy. You can't just have single events take place. Like, after the Death Star goes...
That's the thing, is the Death Star went off, and that motivated rallies.
Yep.
Those rallies, that's where, like, Luke and the rest of the rebellion is all of those other armies finally going, we have a flag and we have a leadership.
Right.
Let us know where to point the ships. Because that's what happens. The bigger the fleet gets, the more the fleet needs a centralized command. That's why the Empire was kicking so much butt. They had the majority of the fleet.
Well, and that's the other thing is Han, Luke, and Leia, I don't think that they were supposed to, like, the battalion that they were with gets beat down almost to nothing by Empire Strikes Back. But if you notice, think about this. In Empire Strikes Back, they're on the run from the Empire specifically. But then, in Return of the Jedi, all of a sudden this fleet of ships is available. Well, how did that happen? Oh, because they kept the Empire distracted while they could build up forces over here and not get noticed until, oh hey, time to go blow up Death Star number 2.
Well, and yeah, rally the troops. Like, all of those people that they saved from Hoth, they weren't just hanging out doing nothing. No, they were going home going, look, we're finally ready. If you guys grab the ships, rally the troops,
now's the time.
Destroy the Empire and you will be free again. And they're like, yeah, we saw what you did. And here's the, like, video, like, they have all the evidence to show them. And, like, that's the bummer about, like, the technology back then. They didn't know how to make propaganda like they do nowadays. But again, Andor is showing us that this is what really happened in the background. And this is the seed that sprouts the tree that convinces Luke there's a worthy cause out there. But like, that's still growing, and so is Luke. Because remember, Luke's almost what, 12, 14 right now?
Well,
And then
I'll
the
even
next
add.
season, he'll be at his 16, getting ready to go say hi to Ben about this droid that says he's looking for Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah. I mean, I'll even take it one step further for you, right? Leia in the first movie says the tighter you grip on the galaxy, the more systems will slip through your fingers. And if we look at Hoth as like this unacceptable use of force, right? No wonder more ships, more peoples started joining the rebel cause, because they saw what was happening, right?
Yeah.
You know, they saw overwhelming force being used on a group of, ragtag guerrillas in the middle of nowhere.
And that ragtag was winning. That's the biggest thing. Like, it's the same story of the American Revolution. It wasn't until they started winning that, like, France came in and was like, yeah, we might actually support this. Right? It's the same thing in every revolution. Like, the fact that the team wins is more because, like, when you have a reason to fight other than I'm scared if I don't, you tend to fight harder.
Yeah.
And like, this to me is like, this is the, like, if Star Wars is a space opera, right? If the original 6 movies are different versions of a space opera, or different scenes from parts of a galactic story that mattered, right? Like, that makes it make more sense that, like, there was so much more implied. Like, you see Palpatine gaining all this power, but in the movie, the only way that's visualized is him using lightning on Mace Windu. And that's awesome.
Yeah.
But, like, the Death Star is also awesome. But again, it's only used one time because George Lucas accounted for how long it takes to move a ship like that.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
And in that, like, all of those things combined matter so much that, like, when you take the time to do exactly what Dave Filoni did with the Clone Wars animated series, and exactly what, like, all of those other writers continued to do off of his model with Bad Batch, and, like, Andor proves that it's all of the workings for this world have been prescribed in every sense. And now, if you want to tell whatever character heist, you want to tell a bank robber, you want to tell a skeleton crew about a super legendary planet that's actually a treasure planet, that's actually a former Republic credit station, you can just drop that in the pipeline.
All right. Well, it is now Andor time. And so with that, we are going to go ahead and say thank you to Eddie Arndt for checking us out this evening. And a shout out to anybody else lurking in the background. We do appreciate everyone and his support. Please continue to share, continue to like, continue to subscribe, all that stuff. We're pretty much running this on our own word of mouth. But yeah, we'll try to get the End of the World back up and running soon. We might have a game stream later this evening. But I'm Petey York, the Writer Brothers. We will see you on the next E2IP. Good night. This has been a presentation of the Entertainment Information Intelligence Podcast from the Writer Brothers. The Writer Brothers, restoring respect in a discourse. Good night.